Our last game, Seahawks-Falcons. You mentioned earlier, Matthew, big day for Ken Walker.
Yeah.
It's not just the 14 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown, but also 2 catches. One of them was a touchdown. Ken Walker continues to have a great fantasy season.
And it's interesting because there was concern coming into the game, would he be active? Like he went from, no injury designation to questionable. They elevated a couple of guys from the practice squad, but ultimately turns out it's his birthday. And he'll score if he wants to. This is actually what he did. He's been a big part. He's now, for the season, he's the second best running back in fantasy. He's had at least 20 fantasy points in 3 or 4 years. He's part of that, that running back explosion we talked about. But what's really impressive about Ken Walker is that he's truly become a 3-down back. You mentioned the receiving touchdown here. 40% of his points this year have come in the passing game, and which is great given how much Geno Smith and the Seahawks offense likes to pass.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the one issue in terms of projecting the Seahawks offense going forward, the Falcons defense just isn't very good at the moment. They have no pass rush whatsoever. I don't understand how the defense can be so bad in the secondary when you have AJ Terrell and Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons out there. I don't know if it's a scheme thing or whatever. Giving up that touchdown at the end to DK Metcalf at the end of the half is an atrocity. Like, you can't do that.
Right.
Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
So I think it was just a bit of a mess all of around, but it's encouraging that Geno is so good. DK Metcalf, it doesn't seem like it's so serious. On the other side of the ball, Bijan Robinson did whatever he wanted and looked great, and that was the Bijan that we were expecting preseason. Yeah. Again, though, I just worry that the Seahawks' rush defense is terrible and how much to really read into that and how much that is going to be predictive going forward.
Yeah, I mean, but the volume is there and the talent is there, right? 24 touches. He's had at least 18 touches in 5 of 7 games this season. I think we just have to not worry about Tyler Algier. Because, again, if you tell me Bijan Robinson's getting 18 touches, and he's gotten that in every game except for 2 this entire year, like, okay, great. I'll sign up right now for 18 touches from Bijan Robinson every week because I believe in his talent and the overall efficiency of this offense. He's had 3 rushing touchdowns over the last 2 weeks. He's averaging almost 25 fantasy points per game. And friend of the podcast, Detective Drake London, did not do a bird up after he got into the end zone, but he did score. It's his 3rd straight week with a score. He now has almost 50% of the Falcons' red zone targets. He's playing very, very well. Kyle Pitts, whatever. We can drop Ray McCloud, though. That's no longer going to be a thing.
I don't think Kirk Cousins is must-start by any means either.
No, I don't think so either. Tough day at the office for Lockett and JSN. As great as Walker was and Metcalf was, it's like I think JSN actually had more passing yards than receiving yards.
He did. Yeah, he had 35 yards through the air. It's a suspect ball to throw up, but DK Metcalf did come down with it. And then, 3 receptions for 9 yards on 6 targets. Just hasn't happened for Jason this year.
Yeah,
it's kind of baffling because he's out there a ton. He's getting targeted.
Yeah, it's very upsetting to me. Cost me a win against you. It's, I'm going to beat producer Steven despite JSN's poor performance.
Some injuries we're tracking out of the weekend. Jaden Daniels, of course, with the ribs injury. The good news is, Matthew, the Commanders were running away with that game at a wild pace, so Daniels wasn't going to come back in.
No, and Mike Florio said on Football Night in America yesterday that he spoke with a team source with the Commanders, and he asked him on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about Jaden Daniels? And the source said 3 or 4.
Okay.
So
that'd be 1.
You'd rather be 1, but I will tell you when he went down, I thought, oh God, is that a knee? I really thought, was it an ACL? Was it an MCL? Something like that. It's a rib. And not that ribs aren't pain, but you can wear a flak jacket. Ribs are not season ending for a quarterback.
No.
Deshaun Watson out for the season with the Achilles. That is per Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. Aiden O'Connell will miss 4 to 6 weeks with the thumb injury. We talked about Ayuk. Shanahan hinted at it could be an ACL. DK Metcalf, things are looking more positive there considering he was carted off. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who is now the backup to Deshaun Watson, left the game with a finger injury. We'll keep an eye on that one as well. Curtis Samuel with the shoulder. Juju Smith-Schuster left the game with the hamstring injury. Pop Douglas came into the game sick, left the game sick. Deebo Samuel came into the game sick, never really played much in the game at all. So a lot of things that are short-term and a couple on here that are long-term that we will keep you updated on throughout the week.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson is definitely out for the year, and it does unfortunately look like it's trending that way for Brandon Ayuk. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.